Thank you for tuning in to my weekly video message. Over the past week, COVID cases continued to increase throughout Montgomery County. We've seen a 13% increase in cases over the past week, and we have now gone 7 consecutive days in substantial transmission status. This trend has triggered the County Council's regulations to reinstate the indoor mask mandate starting Saturday morning, November 20th at 12:01 a.m. This means that wearing masks will be required in all indoor public facilities in the county. As the weather gets colder and more activities begin to move inside, we are likely to see higher rates of COVID transmission. I've said before that wearing a mask is a good idea when indoor or crowded settings are where you find yourself, no matter what the official regulations are. And I've been out in the community and I've seen the vast majority of people wearing masks even when the mask mandate was not in effect. That is one of the reasons we continue to have one of the best and safest numbers among the large jurisdictions in the nation in terms of our COVID rates, and it's all because of you. As far as our progress with vaccinations this week, we're at 78.2% of our total population fully vaccinated and 87.7% with at least one dose. This number now includes vaccinating our 5 to 11-year-olds. So if you notice that these numbers are a little lower than they were a week or two ago, that's because we're now including a larger number of people in our count. We continue to lead the state in the number of children vaccinated, and notably, we are prioritizing equity and targeting lower income, minority and immigrant communities to ensure that this vaccine is being distributed fairly. We have vaccinated nearly 20,000 children since the beginning of eligibility for this group. As you can see from the chart, we're only 1/6 of the state's population, but we've provided a disproportionately high number of the pediatric vaccines. This is a result of our months of planning, collaboration with MCPS, as well as with our community partners. The majority of pediatric doses, 61%, have been given by HHS and our MCPS and community partners. As you can see from this chart, all the other groups, private physicians, pharmacies, grocery stores, hospitals, and nonprofits have only given out 39% of the pediatric vaccines. And just as we have throughout all the vaccination processes, equity is a priority. The first weekend we held 12 clinics at MCPS locations, chosen because they were Title I schools and because they were convenient to large groups. As of yesterday, county-operated clinics had vaccinated over 11,000 doses in total for this age group. However, I am concerned about the vaccine supply level that is coming into the County Health and Human Services Department. We received our doses from the state, and we received a reduced amount this week, and the state indicated that the amount may be reduced in the coming week or weeks. At the same time, private providers have unused doses that are sitting in refrigerators. We've had to cancel planned vaccination clinics that we were supporting with MCPS last weekend, and hopefully we'll get an increase in the doses soon. We have the capacity to administer them. In the meantime, if you're unable to get an appointment through our HHS department, please check with your pediatrician or local pharmacy for an appointment. The pharmacies have vaccines. Please inquire with them whether you can get scheduled if you don't have the opportunity with the county. I also want to mention that we had an issue with incorrect dosages that were given to 98 students at South Lake Elementary. One of our HHS staff recognized that students were underdosed and immediately notified supervisors of the mistake, so mitigation measures were instantly enacted. I want to note and thank the incredible work of this employee to catch this discrepancy. Mistakes always happen. It happens here too, but it takes courage and professionalism to act and quickly correct the mistake, as well as owning the mistake. This is the culture we have amongst our employees, and we are very fortunate for their service and actions in this instance. Next week, families and friends are expected to gather together for the Thanksgiving holiday in much larger numbers than last year. This means that exposure to COVID will likely increase. Fortunately, we're in a different place than we were this time last year because so many of us are vaccinated, including children. But we must realize that we're dealing with a different and much more aggressive variant than we were at this time last year. So as you make your final plans and preparations for Thanksgiving, please keep in mind that this pandemic is not over. Please encourage all of your guests to get vaccinated if they have not. Make accommodations to space out guests the best you can at your dinner, or consider eating outside if the weather cooperates. By being smart and safe with COVID during Thanksgiving, we can avoid having our December holiday gatherings interrupted by illness. The 2022 Maryland General Assembly session is right around the corner, and this week I testified before the Montgomery County Senate and House delegations about our legislative priorities for the upcoming session. While we hope the worst of the pandemic is behind us, we are not out of the woods yet, and we need to remain focused on the need for continued shorter-term relief. In addition, we also need support that will lead to greater economic resilience and that addresses the systemic problems the pandemic has highlighted. In order for us to remain the economic engine of the state, we are going to need to partner with the state to get the necessary resources to strengthen our workforce, stimulate economic development, and enhance our education system. One of the areas of severe need is additional investment to increase the stock of affordable housing in the county. I also provided a list of transportation priorities for the upcoming session. High-profile transit projects and support for local transit and pedestrian and bike safety programs. This week, I was proud to announce that Montgomery County is building the nation's largest community solar farm to be 100% dedicated to creating energy for low and moderate income residents. We're partnering with Neighborhood Sun and Amoresco to transfer a portion of the Oaks landfill into a solar farm. Over 7.6 million kilowatt hours of energy will be created by this facility, preventing over 5,000 metric tons of CO2 from being released each year, which is the equivalent of taking 1,172 cars off the road for 1 year, and preventing nearly 6 million pounds of coal from being burned. This is important and it's significant. I'm encouraging any Montgomery County resident who gets their energy from Pepco and qualifies as a low and moderate income household to sign up for 25% savings on their energy bill. Finally, this weekend is the annual Thanksgiving Day Parade in downtown Silver Spring. This is the only Thanksgiving parade in the Metro DC area and signals the start of the holiday season. The parade steps off from Ellsworth Drive and Fenton Street and proceeds south to Georgia Avenue, ending up at Silver Spring Avenue. We're encouraging families in attendance to socially distance themselves and wear masks to keep the community, our neighbors, and our young people safe. It is wonderful to have the parade back this year, and I hope you can be there to see it. Thank you for taking the time to listen, and have a good weekend.